Welcome back to another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. In this video, we'll show you how to remove and replace the evaporator fan motor on this Frigidaire refrigerator. Stop! Before beginning any repair, always be sure to unplug the appliance from the wall outlet. It is also recommended to check the outlet for proper voltage. You will need the following tools to complete this repair. To begin, open the freezer door. First, remove the rack by removing the black rubber spacer, sliding the rack to the left, and then tilting it up and pulling it out. Next, remove the two 1/4-inch screws holding the evaporator cover onto the back of the freezer. With the two screws removed, gently tilt the cover forward until you can access the wiring harness located behind the cover. Grasp the harness, press in the tabs on both sides, and pull straight out to remove. Now the panel can be removed by pulling up and out. The metal edges can be sharp, so be careful when handling the panel. With the panel removed, start by removing the wiring harness connected to the upper right side of the rear of the panel. Next, remove the white plastic tabs holding the fan cover to the panel by pressing them in and down. There are 6 tabs in total. With the tabs loosened, swing the cover up until it's almost perpendicular to the panel and pull straight out to release it from the final 2 tabs located under the foam gasket. Now, with the cover removed, take out the 2 1/4-inch screws located on either side of the fan. When removing the final screw, support the fan motor from the bottom so it does not fall out. Lift the cover off and set it aside. Remove the fan blade. When removing, be careful not to damage the blades. Grasp underneath with 2 fingers and push the fan blade off the shaft. Also, remove the spacer from the shaft and set it aside. Flip the motor and bracket over and remove the 1/4-inch screw holding on the ground strap. Pull the ground strap off and flip the motor and bracket to access the 2 1/4-inch screws holding the bracket together. Remove these while holding onto the motor and bracket so they do not fall. Once the screws are removed, you can pull the bracket apart. and set your evaporator fan motor aside. When installing the new evaporator fan motor, make sure the rubber grommet on each side of the bracket has stayed in place. These are essential for the fan motor to seat properly. Take note that the larger bracket goes onto the rear of the motor, and the smaller bracket goes over the side with the shaft. Insert the post on the rear of the motor into the grommet on the larger bracket. Bring the smaller bracket down over the shaft until it seats firmly, and install the 2/4 inch screws. Leave the first screw slightly loose in case you need to move the bracket to line up the second screw. Tighten the second screw completely. Make sure to return to the first screw and finish tightening it. Before installing the fan blade, make sure to reinstall the spacer you removed earlier. Ours was about 1/4 inch off of the bracket, so we installed it in the same position. The fan blade cannot be installed incorrectly, as only one side is open to accept the shaft. Simply press the fan blade down onto the shaft until it stops. Return to the rear of the bracket and reattach the ground strap using the 1/4 inch screw you removed earlier. Place the motor and bracket back onto the panel. Take note that the wires should be oriented towards the bottom of the panel where the vents are located. It could be mounted in the other direction, but this would cause problems when reinstalling the panel. Line up one of the screw holes and start the screw. Again, leave the first screw loose so you can adjust and line up the second screw. Install the second screw and tighten it down completely. Return to the first screw and tighten it down. Make sure the motor and bracket is securely mounted and spin the fan blade to make sure it has clearance. Next, install the fan cover by inserting the top 2 tabs first at an angle, then rotate the cover down and press to secure the other 6 tabs. Return to the rear to visually confirm that each tab has snapped into place and press firmly on any that haven't until they are secure. Install the wiring harness into its place in the top corner of the rear of the cover. When reinstalling the panel into the freezer, take note of the vent cover on the bottom of the panel. This will need to be lined up initially to make sure the panel is going into the correct position. Line up the vent and let the panel rest at an angle. Reach over the top of the panel and plug in the wiring harness. The connector is keyed and it cannot be installed incorrectly. Once the harness is plugged in, roll the panel up into place. Reinstall the 2 1/4-inch screws to hold the panel in place. Finally, bring the rack back into the freezer at an angle, inserting the left side first, then bring it down and insert the right side into the holes. Press the black spacer back onto the left side of the rack and close the freezer door. And this will complete your repair. Thanks for watching. If you found this information helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.